Okay, welcome to Oathsworn into the Deepwood, dissecting the game system, part 2. I showed how you get actually started. The choices that you can make are guided by the app. Also, if you are not into the app, you can do the simulation of the story via the storybook. So this is basically how it goes. You move from location to location. You can jump to all the locations. Each location from now on is represented by a section in the storybook. So let's just pick. Let's see. Okay, this is quite spoilery. Let's pick something else that. Not spoiling. Not 14, not 15. I think this is fine. Yeah. I don't really see how. Yeah. So, for example, this. So if you go to a section, let me zoom in. This is not the corresponding chapter. This is chapter 15, but it doesn't really matter. You go into section 9.4, for example. Not sure if you can read it, but 9.4. Well, the masked figure flits across the walls quicker than a blade of a bow can track, etc. So thematic fluff, and then choose a location to go to. And this means that you can go to another location. So if you go, for example, to entry 3, would that work here? No, it doesn't really work, but here you also have choose a location to go to. So the story ends and gives you freedom to go to another part. The nice thing is, so this is chapter 15. It says here your story begins at 1.3 on this page, and this is a nice way that has been practiced in by Choose Your Own Adventure game books. They cut up and randomize the order of the text. So there is a main flow and there are side flows. And 1.1 is not the start. It is somewhere else. It's 1.3. 1.3 is this part here. Open mystery envelope G and place its contents in the center of play. So the thing in caps lock here gives you gameplay instructions, and the small stuff is for the thematic fluff, and then there is a choice. So ask a hobbling girl passing by where everyone is going, turn to 1.2. And that's this part. And ask the masked woman why she wears a mask, turn to 1.1. It's 1.1 in this chapter. So every chapter starts with a 1, and all references are within the chapter. Okay, so this is how you jump into the, from text to text. Then there are skill checks. For example, 5.6, or eyes widen with hope, almost looking past you. Perform a reasoning check, difficulty 5. This will only automatically fail on 3 or more blanks. So in the story version, you should just roll a d6, and if you succeed, turn to 5.5. If you fail, turn to 5.12. And 5.12 again gives you another choice to investigate a cemetery or head off and investigate a new location. Since I haven't shown the map, this is not really a spoiler. But I will go into spoiler territory soon. Yeah, so that is the two things. So you have to roll survival checks, perception checks. But the choices that you make, they impact what options you will get later on. There is also the clue token mechanic. So 8.7, for example, says if you have clue token 2, turn to 8.22. Otherwise, turn to 8.32. So again, it's split up in the book to prevent you from reading too much, if you will. And here, for example, you do stuff, and then there is gain clue token 6. So there is several clue tokens. There is also something that I want to show, that there is a very unpleasant discussion on Board Game Geek, for example, by some people who claim that there is minimal choice in the game, and the choices have no effect. And it's true that there are you go through the chapters in order, just like in a normal fantasy book, but inside there is many choices, and they branch off inside each chapter. Let's see. Let's go somewhere else. And also there are very nice pictures. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, if you have the Herald, so this 29.8, assuming that you get there via choices. If you have the Herald ally, turn to 29.7. Otherwise, turn to 29.11. 29.7, it gives you extra information by the Herald, and sometimes this booklet shows you. Let's see, where is that? Well, sometimes the book gives you instructions to read an entry in the journal, and the journal is full of little tidbits of thematic fluff, and there is also this stuff here in the bottom that you will notice, and that is some kind of mirror image text, and it is used in the end of the game, so you should not try to read this. And there are some letters and fragments of letters, and depending on your choice, you read a certain letter part. So here you can see another letter part and another letter part. And it matters who your ally is, because some allies give you extra information. So there is an AVI harbinger or something. And there's also an NPC, and you cannot reason with it if you don't have the AVI harbinger with you. And yeah, so that is how it works. So the journal is triggered by the storybook, and your position on the map indicates the section capital, so the chapter 3, chapter 4, etc. So choose a location to go to, and then you trigger, you read what is in the in that location. And in that location you have a story, like, oh yeah, and there's also keywords. You have on your player log, on your save sheet, there is a backside, and there you write texts. And yeah, and this only works if you have the ally steed, for example. But then you can it can be instructed to write a keyword, just like in Sleeping Gods. You had these cards that had keywords, but here you write them down. And there is some things like, for example, here thin formation. There's also thick formation, and it matters a lot what happens later, because then the book says if you have thin formation, go to this section. If you have thick formation, do something else. So that does matter. And the story is very well written. It was a joy to read. And yeah, up to next, go a little bit deeper. Bye.